Yo, what is going on, everybody? Time for a little bit of a replay analysis, a little bit of fun here. This is really interesting. So, I've been keeping a close eye on Zen because I think everyone knows this guy is really basically probably one of the best players in the world. Even in the last couple of months, I've seen a massive improvement from Zen in his positioning, which is really interesting. So, it's probably from his coaching or something, but his positioning now is so solid, like fundamentally sound. And what I want to point out through this, we're going to go over this replay after, we're going to watch the game first, is a couple of things that I think people could be doing that aren't doing, and that you could improve by just putting these into your games. And even though these players have mechanics, we're going to actually look at how you can use mechanics in an effective manner, how you can position in a way to allow you to play effectively. One of the things I see a lot of people do, Champ 2, 3 and beyond, is they play in a sense that they don't know what's going on, and they very may well not know what's going on. A little story for you guys. So basically, when I was a kid, I used to love fighting. And MMA and all that. It came out in 1993, UFC I should say. Used to love it. And me and my brother would always fight. We would always fight. We had proper, it's not like, oh yeah, little, no. We used to, broken arms and smashing vases and all this stuff. Really cool stuff. And used to love it. So when I was younger, when I was about 12, I was always getting the crap kicked out of me. Because I was smaller and I was weaker. Let me explain it to you. In Rocket League, I had less mechanics. Okay, I didn't have the ability. Now, one day, I saw this guy called Hoist Gracie, and he got this guy, little guy, and he beat everyone, and he beat him with these submission holds. I said, wow, that's really cool. But to me, and most other people, it just looks like two people just rolling around. No one really knew what was going on. Years later, I saw this in other areas of life. I went to a boxing event for Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, and people just say, just knock him out. I said, whoa, these guys don't have a clue what they're talking about. Just throw a punch and knock him out. Well, as if it's that easy. Anyone could be the world champion in that case. So, when I realized, actually, people are looking at things that they don't know what they're looking at, now I understand. Because with that Hoist Gracie thing, I went on LimeWire. Some of you may remember LimeWire. And I downloaded the Gracie DVDs. This is way back, the first ones I had. And all of a sudden, it was like a new world to me. This is called a mount. This position, we call it side control. And at that time, the goal was get to the mount and get an armbar. The opponent will do this. And guess what? I was like 14, okay, at this time. And I was studying this in my head. I stayed up late. I studied these. And I got into a fight next day with my brother because I wanted to try it out. And I got to the position side control because he didn't have a clue what he's doing. And I now had an advantage because I knew the positions, right? And then I got to the mount. And guess what? He put his arms up just like they said. And I got the arm bar. And I beat him for the first time. I was like 14, 15. Couldn't believe it. It was like a whole new world had just been opened up. Now, the reason I'm telling you this story is because this is how I see Rocket League. A lot of players don't really understand the positions. They don't really know what's going on. It just looks chaotic. It doesn't look like it has any rhyme or reason. And so what people do is they say, well, I got to get stronger, aka mechanics, okay, in that thing. If I got stronger than my brother, yeah, I could beat him because I would be stronger than him. I could just outpower him. But I still wouldn't know what I was truly doing. So a lot of players get very, very mechanical. They get more and more mechanical because they feel like from wherever I am, I need to score. From whatever position I'm in, I have to score a goal. And how do you do that? Well, you need insane mechanics, quite rightly so. What I've watched from Zen over the last couple of months especially, and obviously Zen knows positioning, I'm not saying that, but specifically I've been watching this guy over the last couple of months. I think he could be the best player in the world based on his positioning. It's actually outrageous how good his positioning is, how good his fundamentals are, and how much they've improved. We're going to highlight this here. So this is a replay of Atomic, Zen of course, versus Scream and Jazzy. Alright. Now, these guys are actually paired up. Now, we're going to see some things that are common as far as defensive mistakes. I'm going to point that out once we get to the end of this replay. But you're also going to see some brilliant positioning from both of these players. And I've been witnessing this with my own eyes. People might say I'm crazy. There has been a massive improvement at the higher level all of a sudden in the positioning in twos. It's remarkable. And this seems to me, I've watched lots of replays for a long time. At first, it was only like a few players doing it. Your Fairy Peaks, your Monkey Moons. Now I'm noticing the mechanical players are now starting to inject this, and they are starting to really dominate because they've now added this really fundamentally sound positioning. So I'm going to show you what that is after this replay. We're going to actually analyze this. And I'm actually quite happy because, as far as I'm aware, all the replay analysis of Zen on this channel have been losses. It's not because I hate Zen, but one of the things I'm always about is no one's impossible to beat. Everyone is beatable and everyone has flaws. And people do often think I'm going to do this because a pro does it, but it may not be the best thing just because they do. But anyway, let's get on to this replay. And I tell you what, wow, what a game. So hope you guys don't mind that story. A bit of an interesting story, I am sure. We're going to go to... and we're going to look at this play here because this is the stuff that you're missing out on at every rank, actually. Now, it's not so much to look at the mechanic. First of all, let's go to here. All right, we have the kickoff. And guess what? Both players build up on the kickoff and they're trying to protect the center. Now, one of the big mistakes people make when they start learning this kickoff, and even high-level players will still do this, is they make too much of an emphasis on this boost. If you cannot win this boost, do not try and flip into it. You're asking for trouble. You're going to flip out of the way. I've seen it happen at really high levels. So right here, Atomic will probably say, I may not get this, admit defeat and head back. All right? Absolutely. Because what I would expect to see from a GC, hell, even an SSL and below, a lot of them would take the risk to flip into that. Be honest with yourself. How many of you out there would flip into that to try and win that mid-boost race? At this moment in time, that's ridiculous to do. Because you're now going to put your teammate who just took the kickoff in a 2v1. You're going to get collapsed, demoed. You're going to have no... But it is not going to work. And yes, would you be able to save it potentially? Is it good though? No. Why put ourselves in a disadvantage where we've got to fight? You know what I mean? Let's fight less. So really good from Atomic here to go now on towards the backboard and take this boost. And this is a key thing, massive key that you see at the high levels, not at the low levels. Rotating ball side. A lot of people I've seen on Reddit have been getting confused. Oh, from the comments I read, people aren't rotating enough. People aren't leaving the ball. You're not meant to leave the ball, guys. You know, leaving the ball means creating gaps, and you never want to create gaps. So as opposed to a lot of players here would then go in and rotate, Atomic here is going to probably try and defend the backboard because he's rotating ball side. And it's a really smart decision to go onto the backboard. Why? Why the backboard? Well, obviously, yeah, to stop the shot. But why else? Why else would this be so important to defend? As opposed to him staying low. Why would this be so important if I'm Zen? I'll let you know. The reason is because if Scream went low here, I can now come out onto the ball. If Atomic drove at the net, he's going to smash into me. Okay? Obviously, this can be adapted with communication. I could stay here, let him through. Now I could space out here and start to build up with him, especially because he'd had an open lane and we forced a weak side. A weak side, by the way, is a side where no opponent is. Oftentimes in twos, and this is where the improvements really come on in a lot of the pro players at the moment, is they're not forming as many weak sides as they were. I'm seeing much more central play on the build-up. It's really impressive to see, and it's something that I've been mentioning for a long time. I'm talking at least 4 years as far as I can track back on my videos. What you then do here if you're Zen, quite rightly so, well, I can see what's going to happen. Remember, you don't have to be super duper strict. The more you know and the better your vision gets. You now play for where the ball's going to go. There it is. Then now comes, guess what? Boom, he's attacking the center. He's attacking the center. Very important. How would you do this with low mechanics? You would wait for the hit and then you just do a shot onto the backboard or something like that. Okay, you can do this with less mechanics. Zen there looking for a double flip reset. Again, I'm really impressed with what I see here from Atomic. Because look at this, straight on, and again, if you know the vision and the rules, you can manipulate them. Zen has fully commit. He does not have the ability to get back on and do a close shadow here. This is where you rotate. Okay? Let me explain. You do not rotate for the sake of rotating. You don't rotate because you want to rotate. You rotate because you need to rotate. You have to rotate. That is where all diamonds and champions are going wrong. They are rotating because they feel they should rotate. No. Do you need to rotate? If not, don't rotate. Stay on that ball like glue. What have we seen here? We see a strong side. What does that mean? 2 players on the exact same side and they're in the red zone. What's the red zone? Okay, here's the red zone. Little breakdown real quick for you. The red zone is from this boost to the other boost over there. Okay, corner boost to corner boost. This is the red zone. You don't want to be in this zone. Okay, not for long periods of time. Why? Because you expose the only danger, the only threat in the game at your net. Okay, so you don't go into the red zone. That's the red zone. That isn't exactly red, but it's the red zone. Then you got your orange zones. You know, these are the zones you can chill out here, especially on offense. If you're trying to set up your angles, you can come in and out. You can spend a bit more time here. And then, of course, you've probably guessed you have your green zone. If you're solo queuing and you're struggling to rank up, obviously this would be a green zone. You want to spend 90% of your game time in the green zone. It allows you to make saves. It allows you to score goals. It allows lots of pads that players don't go to. It's a very easy way to rank up. You can use it. So what we're looking at here, anyway, is Atomic does a great cut across. And the reason this cut is allowed, was someone said the same to me the other day. They said, well, a lot of pros do this. Now, in the example, I was actually here, so it wouldn't make sense to do. But look at the way Atomic's come in. He is coming almost straight. The player I had was coming like this. They're going to lose that every time. So Atomic at least trying to put a blocker up there and a great recovery. But let's get back to Zen, as this is the guy we're all talking about right now. He's going to take the mid boost right in front of screen. Again, he's read the game there. Really impressive stuff. And now he is coming to the green zone. He was always going to go into the green zone. Let's look at his times. 1, 2, 3. 3 seconds in the red-orange zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Double the amount of time in the green zone. What a player. So goes for that. Gets a great thing. Again, he's attacked the center. Like I said, if you don't have mechanics, you could shoot that. So let's look at what Zen does so well. Everyone always talks about his finishing and his clinicality, but not many people talk about his first touch, his setups, his fundamental mechanics that I've been telling you guys to work on for a long time. What starts this amazing play? Power slide cut. So if you don't have Zen's aerial ability and you'd say diamond or champ, that's a power slide cut. You then stay behind the ball. You watch the opponent, see how they're both backing off. Well, why are they both backing off? That's a great question. Because they both ended up in a red zone on the strong side. So they have to back off now. They've screwed themselves. And again, the reason I told that story about the jiu-jitsu at the beginning is because people don't see this. They don't see strong sides. They don't see zones. They don't see triangle offense. They don't see setups. Okay, they just see chaos. And that's why they focus on mechanics. But the fact of the matter is this. What they have done so well, Atomic and Zen, in this game already, is they have forced their opponents quite marvelously from one red zone, okay, into another red zone. So what they are doing is they are putting an extreme level of stress on these players. Look how open the middle is, which is why I'd say you're probably better off just going for a shot there. Snapshot would probably be the goal because these guys are going to be so focused on the boosts. Okay, so you can absolutely make this work at low rank. And also remember, I always say this, if you are SSL top 100, top 10, then you know, they're going to recover better. But if you're lower ranked, they're not going to recover as well. So a shot would suffice, even a ground touch into a shot. But again, it all comes, and I wanted to make sure, off going into the green zone, forcing the opponents in the red zone, and then the power slide. This is something you can use straight away, guys. And of course, you got to do my little plug here. Yes, we have the pacifist system. I can send you the document for free. And of course, this is what it's all built on. It's built on this. And this is what I was hoping to see from pros many moons ago. And now I'm starting to see it. It's quite fantastic. And again, Atomic, what do they do so well? When they come in, they move straight into the middle so they can build up through the middle. And they get a great 50 there. So really, really great play here from Atomic and Zen teaming up. And again, I gotta say, Atomic is really good at this. Builds up on the kickoff, but doesn't overdo it. So many people here would crazily make a beeline to the mid boost. And they would go to the corner boost. How many times have you gone for the corner boost? And I don't know if we're going to see this in this game because this is a high level game, but it happens in all. I see it happen in Grand Champ 2. People always defending on the outside and then going for this boost, which means they just drag the ball into the middle and fluff it, even at high levels. Well, I'd say GC2 is high level, but anyway. So what Atomic does so well is he doesn't go for the mid boost, too dangerous. Doesn't go for the corner boost, too dangerous. What's the real danger? Yes, great stuff. Goes straight back into the green zone, makes the save. We're going to look here at Zen, who takes the pickup. Great teamwork from these two here. Now, remember I was talking about the red in the green zone. So right now, they've forced a strong side here due to the play. So what needs to happen here is Atomic, oh, look at that. He needs to get into the green zone. Well played, Atomic. Perfect play from Atomic. Zen can stay in the red zone because technically he has space in this zone. And again, you can use this to set stuff up for your wall plays and stuff like that. But again, we're not there for a long period of time. We can use it to set up angles though. Okay? It's more for an offensive thing. It's more as a first man thing to be able to go wide. Second man wants to be doing green zone. And really well done here. So in the green zone, you see Atomic. And now here, again, look at Zen. So Zen is going to rotate ball side and go towards the backboard. Also allows him to grab boost if needed. And then he's looking. Do I need to go up? Do I need to go up the wall? No. Why? Because Atomic has gone up for the hover. So Atomic hovers, and look at this. Something really important that low-level players don't do. I want you to look at Atomic's positioning before he takes off. He puts his momentum towards his net. He puts his momentum towards his net. He doesn't do what a lot of players do because they're told to rotate, which would come here and fly at this ball. Whiff the ball, potentially. Get outplayed, potentially. And now his teammate is in a 2v1. He doesn't do that. He respects the green zone and he hovers in the green zone. We have two now in the green zone and boom, we are safe. We're in the green zone. Atomic plays it to the side and now they are just trying to read the ball. Again, Zen, great stuff here, guys. He begins to go towards his net. The outcome of this is extremely important to him. If it's a loss, he will go maybe onto the backboard, which I don't prefer, and you're going to see why in a bit, or onto a deep net position, or a back post position. There is a win on this, so therefore he's going to be able to attack it. And again, great stuff from Jazzy here. Jazzy is in the green zone. However, now has transitioned to the red zone. This spells danger. Okay? You've probably already seen it. You've probably already seen that. This is why in the pacifist system we don't do this. And I see it all the time. And again, this is why I'm putting this video. Jazzy, in my opinion, okay, here's what I believe should happen here. And you might disagree, and that's fine. We're all, you know, it's like my granddad said, if we all was the same, we'd all have a red car. I don't know why you love red so much. But anyway, Jazzy right here, I think should go boom, 1 pad, 2 pad, 3 pad, 4. Now they can make a decision. Do I go backboard? Do I go low? Or do I even go deep in net position? Why? Why would I suggest that? Because they're in the green zone. And the green zone, the idea is we get the ball outwards, away from our net. We protect this net. What people often do, and again, this is top 100, they go to the corner here. But they've already got a strong side, right? So, like, if they go to the corner here, now we have a strong side. Both players are on the same side, which means this is weak. They're also both in the red zone. Now, what happens with this is they are relying on this touch, and this happens all the time. All the time, this movement happens. And yet players still do it. Now, let's watch what could have happened and what we do in the pacifist system, which I really believe is the ultimate way to defend this. Jazzy stays deep in net, which gives them a they're here or even here. And let's see what they would see. Okay, let's see what they would see. And this is why this is the strongest way to defend, in my opinion. Boom. Okay, and I use my camera. I see Atomic. Such good positioning, Jesus. Or here, even better. Okay. Now, what I then would say is Scream stays on this ball, because Scream has just been on the ball. So let him get on the ball. He's going to get the challenge. Great recovery. Now he stays on it, gets the mid boost. Why is that important? Well, because he's trying to starve down Zen. Look, he's got 1 boost. Okay. Now, there's no danger here because they've done a great job by creating map space to bring them back. Now, if Scream takes this boost here, then they can turn here, right? And now communication comes in because Scream can turn, like instantly turn and just go up here and jump and side flip onto this. Okay, land and they're off. Or comms come in, they go to the backboard. Jazzy instantly, because they're reading everything, comes onto this ball like a bat out of hell. Double jump hits it, bing, over here, bam, bam, power shot, open net. So this rotation practice of going to the corner for no reason, in my opinion, is extremely common, and we see it here in top 100. And what it does is it's just going to force that ball to leak into the middle. Now, potentially, if Zen wasn't pressing so hard and had a bit more boost, they could do a fake press into this, and you can actually see that there is a scoring opportunity. And this is actually how a lot of goals are scored in the lower ranks, believe it or not. It's these kind of bounce out balls because they aren't getting picked up by anyone, because there's a strong side created for no reason. I don't agree with this with Atomic. Atomic doesn't need to flip here. Doesn't need to flip at all. And he'll probably, recognize that looking back. Stay here. Now I can pick it up. Now I can, defend the green zone. Now I can do my double jump. He goes away to move back into the same spot. Doesn't make sense. Again, this is something we've seen a lot of. There really is no reason for this. As you can see here, what Atomic does is he moves, and he's in a great position now, and he moves himself out of that position, creating a complete weak side over here to then have to remove into that position. So he's essentially gone from the green zone to the red zone, back to the green zone for no gain. So just stay in the green zone there. In my opinion. But again, great movement here to collapse that defense. And again, you're going to see the ball drop back. And I really like this from Screaming Jazzy there, looking for map space. And let's have a look what happens. So Zen is trying to get the block here. This should not have happened. And the reason this happens is because he misses the boost, I think. He's waiting on the boost. Okay, right. Oftentimes you'll hear me saying sometimes don't touch it. In this situation, this is why, and again, this is why no one's indestructible. Zen has shown his hand. He's telegraphed his intentions. So once you know a player's intentions, and you should always be watching the player who's about to challenge. Once we know their intentions, that's where we can exploit. So his intention is to dunk this ball. So what don't I do then if he wants to dunk this ball? Well, the only way a ball is dunked is how? Well, if it has any lift, right? You can't dunk a grounded ball. It's impossible. That doesn't make sense. So instead of touching this, let it roll. Let it roll. Come here, grab this boost. Let it roll all the way to here. Keep dragging Zen out, okay? As this rolls up, maybe now we jab it. Maybe now we grab this. Now we match the height of the ball. And we don't get dunked. What happens again, though, I've got to say, this is just really poor defending, especially from top 100, because we've got, again, we are defending. We've got 2 in the red zone. And look at this. Scream, and everyone does this. And you're going to see, actually, a goal come here. And it's Atomic's fault. And it's not their fault in a way. It's because they're doing what everyone does. But and this is why I say I don't think everyone's playing right. Because they're pushing here. So we are having 2 players go into the red zone. Well, who's protecting the net? Who's protecting the pickups? Who's controlling the green zone? The most important zone in the game. Who's controlling this? Nobody. And you're going to see that in every game you're in now. So now you know the zones. Use them more. Use the green zone more. Okay, let's get back into this. And you're going to see why this is no good. Now look. 0 green zone. And now Atomic straight away. Now Atomic again. And I hate to keep on about this. I really think Atomic's played well. Again, look at the build up from Atomic. Green zone. Orange zone. Using that path lane. That's not bad. But here... could they have stayed in the green zone? Gone up here. And then gone over the top. And shot. So let's just back this up. So we're going to time this. Come in from this angle instead. Now they're coming up from here. Which means they don't hit the ball so early. Which means they can get above the ball a bit more. Which means they can now push it down into this area. Which is going to really mess the defense up. Because what happens is usually players overreact forward. Do like, again, great mechanical change, but I do feel like it would have been nice to see a bit more green zone on that personally. And again, what makes Zen so special is he uses a side flip. Guys, You've heard me bang on about this so much. Look at the weapon. How many of you guys, even in Grand Champ, would have gone here and turned into this and front flipped into this with your nose? Probably most of you. It's a bigger movement pattern, okay? And look how big Zen's hitbox is now. Because he does this a lot, Zen, and this is why he's really improved, in my opinion. It's what I've watched over the last probably 4 or 5 months. My time goes so quick, it could be longer. Is his usage, I should say, of the side of his hitbox, but also his central zone, his green zone pressure has been massively increased. And he just seems to be getting so many of these first man, I call them first man goals, first man duties there, which you should be looking for. So really good stuff. So good kickoff there. And again, I gotta say, what a perfect teammate Atomic is. Really. Atomic is the one person you want on your team for kickoffs. Look, doesn't try and go for a big boost, just goes straight to protection, green zone, and that allows a shot early. Now again, we're going to spot some movement. And this is where, again, no one's unbeatable. Zen goes into the red zone. Now, the red zone defensively isn't something we want to use too often because basically, trust me, I've done so much of this. I don't have the exact calculations, but I've seen this pattern over and over and over, and I've developed, this whole system within these patterns to make it more understandable and breaking down and sort of more accessible to people. But basically, what I see often is players go into the red zone on defense to challenge, and they challenge then into this zone here. There's a couple of reasons this is no good. Well, the first is obviously the strongest move that this player could make, potentially for a ground play at least, is a lateral dribble, which means that player is completely gone. Also allows a recut back into the side of them, but also the 50-50 for this player usually will go to the net because their challenge is an inside to outside. And that's how you win most of your 50-50s, believe it or not. If you want to win a lot of 50-50s, if you wanted to just challenge everyone, you would need to be in the green zone central position and challenge like that. So always remember this, guys, this green zone stuff. You heard it here first. You do with most things. So green zone, okay, that's where you want to be thinking about your challenges most of the time. Now, what I like to do is I like to tell people that if you're in the red zone, okay, you can throw a challenge. You could do it for a rhythm break later on. But it really is powerful to go from the red zone in certain situations and then shadow fake and lead them across into the green zone. Okay, if they're on low boost, that is. I wouldn't really do it if they had high boost because it's very easy for them to do a drop and demo and hand off to their teammate. But anyway, a green zone would be a bit safer here to try and force them into the corner. Something, I first heard Ray talk about 5-6 years ago. And you guys saw him go to SSL with 4 losses and no mechanics, just using that one defensive method. So, yeah, Zen here, in my opinion, again, no one's perfect. This is why I always love these things. This is a very bad position to be in because he has allowed the opponents to have a lateral dribble into the middle, and the most dangerous part is the central zone. If you allow the center to be taken with the ball, you are in deep trouble here. And in fact, this should have been a goal. The mistake here was this is too, again, where a lot of players are, in my opinion, failing, is they're trying too much. You see a teammate going for a demo, kill that ball. Right? God, he seems aggressive. No, kill the ball, guys. The biggest mistake I see in 2v1s, you should be scoring 100% of these. 100%. The reason you don't score them is because you put the ball high. He should break here, screen. Okay? Let that ball drop and then get behind it and just push it right like that. Just push it. Push it straight into the net. Why? You can't be challenged. You can't be beaten. And by going low, let's look at this from Atomic's perspective. Let's imagine Atomic doesn't get demoed here. Let's just say maybe Jazzy is here. Jazzy's here pushing onto him. Now, by going high, Jazzy can't see this ball because he's focusing on the player. So Atomic can now get up into the air and make a challenge and dodge the demo. What you have to do is put the ball low so that Atomic cannot jump to make the save. If he jumps, he then ends up higher than the ball and loses the low 50. Okay, so you should always kill. And the other thing is, it's quicker. You've got a 2v1. Don't snooze on a 2v1. 2v1 should be goals, especially if you've got the center exposed on a 2v1. This is why this challenge is terrible from Zen. This should be a guaranteed goal now. Drop the ball, drop that ball, maybe one touch, kill it, and then just push. There's a goal. It's the lowest mechanical thing you can do. Anyone can do this, diamond and onwards. Very, very powerful strategy. So powerful, in fact, that I had a teammate, Max, who won the British Esports All-Star Cup. So yeah, pretty damn good player. Multiple time SSL. And we made a whole strategy on this in Season 11, original Season 11. We made a whole strategy on this exact play. I would drop the ball off to Max, and I would go demo, and he would just push the ball in. And we made a whole strategy on that. And we got pretty damn good, let me tell you that. So, yeah, there's something you want to be doing there. So this should be a goal. And again, is all players make mistakes? Absolutely. Let me get there we go. So Zen, after this bad demo, does manage to get back. This should, like I say, should be a goal. And again, Scream, absolutely the worst possible play to go for. Really not the best vision here. That should just be a put in, but puts it high, slow. Why, I mean, you guys probably already know this, but why is this such a bad move? Why is this such a bad move? It just wastes so much time. Instead of going in a straight line here, we're going to go up and down to here. Now, if we were to drag that line, this movement out into a straight line, okay, we're probably looking about this. It's basically double the distance. So it takes twice as long. So, yeah, not great. Great demo. Catch up there. Great recoveries from Zen. Straight into the green zone, and this is much better. Inside to outside. He is in the center, pushing it to the outside. Much safer to do. Although it means he gets led into a funnel, but it is still a much safer thing to do in those situations. Again, this, in my opinion, is unnecessary and a bit too much, purely because the momentum's too far forward, which means the recovery takes a bit long. This should be a goal. And this is a bit unfortunate. So let's have a look at this. So Jazzy gets the outplay here. Now, as soon as that outplay comes, Scream should be... Are they on comms? No. Oh, yeah. Scream should be going for the demo here. Demo or outplay, which is what they go for. Fair enough. And they do the push. Fair enough. Now, Jazzy backs off. Why? Let's have a look what happens here. They need to build up here. They cannot back off on a 2v1. Grab this. Instant flick. Bang. There's the gap. Got to be aggressive on your 2v1s. You have to be aggressive on your 2v1s. Anyway, good play there. Zen realizing, I think Zen now just saying, calm down a bit. Back in the green zone. And again, notice this move. Oh, what a perfect move. And this is why Zen has been so good in ones as well, actually, if you watch his ones play. Is this move... A lot of people ask me, how do you do the half flip challenge? How do you do the back flip challenge? And again, and I always will say this, guys. The best player I ever first saw do this was... Well, actually, the first player I ever saw do it was OSM. But OSM did it around the wing, and there was a lot of wing pushing back in those times. But the best player I've seen do it anywhere, Raidmeister. Raid. He is so good at this, right? He will force you into these traps with his inside positioning. And this is exactly what Zen's done here. So he's gone for an inside shadow. And watch this in slow motion, okay? This is really important. Then he'll cut right into the inside position. Then stop because Scream can't see him. And then backflip because Scream's pushing the ball. So watch this from Scream's perspective. And you'll see what I'm on about. Can't see him. And he's lifting the ball up. Again, big mistake. Big mistake. A lot of people make, right, yeah, perfect. If you ever lose vision of the opponent, you've got to drop it or flick it. Purely for this reason. Now, if Scream side flicks to the left here, that could be a screamer. That's too long. There's the challenge. And now they're playing in the green zone. Now, this is really good, actually, from the orange team here. We're going to go back above for a second. So they're playing in the green zone quite well. Atomic inside to outside. Zen running forward takes the level 3 boost. That could be absolutely pivotal. They're now at a boost advantage. The problem is here. There is a lot of full-on face-out dives, and I just complimented Zen for using the side flip. Now he is facing out into these challenges. Although that is good. And then there we go. This is the breakdown. This was what causes the breakdown. What am I talking about? Rotation. Rotation kills it. They were doing so well. And then they rotated. And why is that so bad? Because this challenge doesn't make sense. What do you mean it doesn't make sense? Look at Scream's positioning. Another massive tip. If you're on the wall, match the height of the ball or be above it. Why? That's why. So many players do this. They drive at the ball from the inside position, but they'll drive and do that. And that is going to achieve nothing. It's going to achieve nothing. You're just going to get dunked. Instead, couple of thoughts I have here. Maybe Atomic comes here and allows Zen to stay on that ball. And now he can build up. We're watching. Zen's going to stand it. Okay, cool. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to wait in this position. I'm just going to wait here. And now I'm going to push onto this. Look at this, right? I'm going to push onto this. This is the pacifist system. Open net. Let's see what the world's best players and everyone else does that I don't think makes sense. Let's rewind this. So Atomic here does that challenge. Again, I don't agree with it. Flips back into the middle. Good stuff. And then does this. Pushes out onto that ball. Into the corner. Why? Why have two players on the red zone? Why? Now both players are on top of each other. Atomic could have waited deep in net. Deep in net, pacifist style, baby. Right here. Just watching. Even if you don't feel like that because maybe you have to get up for the aerials. Maybe here. Okay? And then you can... Whatever. Whichever you prefer. I just prefer this because I like to do the interception shots. Which if you've seen the videos on the pacifist system, you'll know. But now we have this. This is so typical. Even Monkey Moon does this and gets scored on. And it just drives me crazy. I still see it. Drives me crazy. So all they've got to do is hit the ball anywhere near Atomic or far from Atomic and it's a goal. Because it's very hard to defend this position even as a top player, and this is exactly what happens. Jazzy dives into the corner in a way that's very smart. Now remember about what I said about breaking the rules. What makes this such a good play is Jazzy sees that there's a weak side. And guess who's in that weak side? His teammate. What's the weak side? Again, guys, the side where no one is. There's no one in the green zone on the blue team. Deja vu. Did we not just see a goal happen against the orange team for this exact reason? Yeah. But we still see it everywhere, don't we? So, no one's protecting this. And Scream's probably going to curl here. I would expect. Yes, curls into the green zone. Jazzy, here we go. Anything around Atomic. And, of course, another reason I don't like this... This is actually one of the reasons I don't like this position as well. Is because you move quite a long distance to get to this. And it's very easy to time a bump or a demo. Whereas when you're deeper in net, you can actually usually time it a bit easier to sneak around them. So, again, that's it. What do we see here if we had to break it down? Okay, for the masses, well, what we see... And, again, what you can use in your gameplay... Okay, we got the green zone here, and it's been disrespected. So, no one on this team's in the green zone. In fact, I would argue that pretty much they're both almost in the red zone. Again, remember, it's different for the offensive player. Again, the more you know, the more you can break the rules. So we've got this red zone here, and we've got the orange zone. And like I say, it's to do with time. You can't go never going in this area. You do have to go in this area, but it's flutters, okay? It's moments, passing moments. Like I say, you're looking at game time, maybe 5 to 10%. Maybe here, you're probably looking at more 20 to 30%. And then in this zone, you're looking at your more 75 percentage, plus to be inside this zone. So that is where you want to sort of be. I mean, those numbers may not be perfect, but that's sort of about it. I don't have time to do the maths, but basically you want 70, 65, 75% of your time, maybe even more in this zone. Tip as a solo queuer, I would bump that up to 90%, in all honesty. If you've seen this video and you're solo queuing, most people probably haven't seen this video. I would say spend 90%. You probably rank up pretty quickly, in all honesty, with that. So again, yeah. No one respects the green zone. Who gets to the green zone first? Scream, it's a goal. Because we can't prevent anything. But again, I feel like I came into this like, I'm going to show why Zen's a really good player. And then all I've done is said one nice thing and then sort of slag them both off. But this is not true at all. They're absolutely brilliant players. Again, though, what do we see? Two players in the red zone. And look how awkward this is. That should have been a goal. Look how awkward this is. This, to me... is what has blown my mind for 5-6 years. And it continues to continually happen. We have got... The only reason this isn't a goal is because they get a bit fortunate. But again, what do we see here? Right, let's look at it from this position. Red zone. We get the red zoner. Red zone across here. Red zone. orange zone, and then we got the green zone. So what we see here is, again, both players going into this orange zone for extended periods of time, and this is why it's a terrible thing to do, because you bump each other. What Atomic should do here to prevent these bumps happening is, if you are rotating ball side, you have to go high. It's not a choice that you could, no, you have to go high, because otherwise you're going to bump your teammate. But your teammate shouldn't even be in this position. One of you needs to be on the green zone, in my opinion. So what happens then, therefore, is this ball gets played centrally, and you can see how awkward this is for both of these guys. Look how awkward it is. And Atomic makes a 0 boost save, and they escape. Now, could this have been a goal? Absolutely. I think Jazzy didn't need to flip here, because again, look at you got to spot that there's two in the same spot here. So probably best to just come out here with a drive, turn, because again, if you flip, you're in an animation, you can't change it. If you stay grounded, you can turn. There's your goal. All right. That being also said, this could have been a goal straight off from here. They're making themselves make difficult saves here. And a lot of people dog on me because I stay in net quite a lot. I do my pacifist system. It's very defensive, but it's not what it seems. We don't have this situation on the pacifist system because we defend in a different manner. Okay, so it's a different kind of defense. It's more of a fundamental defense. Whereas here, if I was Atomic in the pacifist system, if I was Zen in the pacifist system, I'd be here, and then I'd be on this. Okay, so I'd be flying up right now to hit this onto the wall, land here, and Zen could probably just shoot that open net. But people aren't even seeing this stuff because, again, it's a set method we're playing that was based on the mechanics, because no one's really tried to revolutionize positioning and stuff like that. Again, we've got two here on the red side. But this is really good. So, little hit there, back into the green zone. Zen coming across. And again, gotta be honest, I feel really bad. I didn't look at this replay. I honestly, this is the first time I've seen this replay, which is why some of the stuff I thought might be a bit better. I should have picked the game where he really plays well. Zen is really good. But again, they have pushed and given map space, and they've allowed the opponents to attack the center. Remarkably, though, this is rotation, baby. This is rotation. This is the big issue. We're going to go back. We're going to go back and give them loads of map space. And look what we're going to give them. The green zone for free. You don't give a player like Zen the green zone, because now he goes, oh, I'll go for a ground pinch. That could have been a goal. Great save from Jazzy. Again, going wide. And that... So... It seems like in these last couple of minutes, they've really started to play a little bit more crazy here with stuff like that, those kind of blocks. This is good by Atomic, though. This is really good by Atomic. Why? He goes down the green zone and pinches it to the edge. Could he have done something different? Could he have done something better? You can't say that. He's a pro. Well, all I'm saying is, could he have gone down here, took a curve out instead, and now, instead of pinching, single jumped, air rolled, landed here, come down with this ball. Simultaneously, Zen will come around the back because, again, the different position, swing into this position here, and then they're off. Maybe. But again, it doesn't really matter in this game anymore because look at this red zone usage from Jazzy. What's the first two rules to win in twos? Don't dive into the corner if you don't know what you're doing, especially. And don't dive in as last man. Jazzy, last man, dives into the corner. And guess what Zen does so well? Let's give here's what I'm talking about. This is the fundamentals of Zen. He's above the ball in the corner. He's above the ball on the wall. If you are on the wall, if the ball is near the wall or in the corner, you have to either be matching or above the height of the ball. And the reason why is because we just saw Atomic do it. We're going to see Jazzy do the exact same thing here because this game is stuck on a loop because no one's thinking outside the box. And they are just going to jab that ball for no reason whatsoever at the wall. Watch this. We just saw Atomic do it. It's mad, isn't it? Mad. It's the same exact mistake over and over again. which leads to this pop out. Great stuff from Zen to recognize that. Looking for a tight angle shot. And actually really good here. Atomic, great filling of the lane. So, Atomic comes round with Zen here. Again, what if this goes bad, though? What if this does go bad? For example, what if Jazzy somehow wins this and it flings across, hits this and rolls down here? Look who can turn back into the green zone for another goal there. You shouldn't really do that challenge anymore, but do you see what I'm saying? Imagine if he was second man here, Scream, and then Jazzy went. It would be much safer because they'd have the green zone for free and they wouldn't have dove into the last man. But anyway, Atomic, rightly so, instantly fades to the opposite side. Really important to do this, one, so you can actually receive the pass. So many people look for passes and centres to no one. I don't agree with really looking for too many centres and passes in solo queue. You're best off just not forcing that. Maybe demos, wraparounds are a bit safer. But here he's saying to his teammate, I'm here, I'm ready for the pass. Then's trying to bullet it across. Atomic so close actually on that side flip, just can't get it to land. Takes the mid boost, goes back into the centre, and he's just staying around the centre. Now, is this a lot of movement? Yes. Does Atomic just have to stay here on this boost? Every 4 seconds gets free boost? Yeah, now I'll go. Or Zen calls it, you know. I think that's a good idea. But let's more so look at the defensive work here. What's the mistake? What's the mistake here? Alright, we just went over it. What's the mistake? If the ball is near the wall or the corner, you have to match the height of the ball or be above it. I don't say it for fun. There's a reason. Because if I'm now here, now I can smash that back. I block it. And it also says to my teammate, I am blocking high. You can just focus on low. We are safe. I go out low. And now the ball is difficult. Now my teammate also is going to end up confused because they don't know what I'm defending here. Let's look at this again now. See? It's very confusing. Nothing gets blocked. And you also don't prevent. Never let the offensive player be proactive. Always try and set them into trap. Set them to play certain plays that you want them to play. Good save though. And Jazzy does the right thing there. Inside to outside dive. Has to. Doesn't have a choice. Then Zen looking for the bumps really good. Here I think, you know, when people play twos, they play it for a bit of fun, mechanics and stuff. But I think like I'd expect to see a player, possibly LJ, look down here. Most likely they would, and then turn a little bit later and then go up to this one instead for more of an offensive play. Different players are different. Atomic just going mainly for the block / pressure. But again, pressure doesn't always lead to goals, but it's not a bad thing. Again, straight away, both players put themselves into the weak side. The strong side, which leaves a weak side. So again, Atomic here, first man duties, and this is perfect, by the way. This is perfect. He's not going to win it, but it's perfect. Because more often than not, this works out well for this guy. So Atomic here is using the longest weapon, his side flip. If he was a bit further forward, he wins this, by the way. And he's side flipping. Now, if he were a bit further forward, this ball would go up at this angle and then down. Zen would be able to finish. Zen, though, is pushing his momentum to the weak side, to the red zone, as opposed to staying in the green zone and moving now into the red zone if needed. Great stuff, really lovely this from Atomic, really nice play. And looking for the demo. And he's just going to back off. And it's a 1v1, so it should be easy for Zen here to take control. And again, always a little bit risky, but Atomic trusting Zen here, wants to get that pressure. And they're going to win the 50. What could Scream have done on this 50? First of all, forget Scream. Why is there two players right on this wall here? Where's Scream gone? They're very close. So Scream comes in here, and it's actually very close on this 50. Let me actually look at this again from Scream's perspective. What could Scream have done better here? Use the side of the car. So as they come in, instead of going like a bat out of hell for damage, where's Zen's nameplate? It's to the left, which means he's going to push it to the right. We want to get into a position where we lose his nameplate, and let's see if the ball comes through this. Pretty much it would have come through this. So that's how you can gauge things. So if you want to know where a player is going to hit it, what you would do is you'd get to where their nameplate is and then work from there. So always work backwards. So we go here, we come in, okay, and I'm coming in and I see Zen's nameplate. So I come here and I want to see his nameplate. Now I'm going to come across and I'm going to 50 like this. And that's going to be a much more devastating 50, more likely to win it if I did want to dive in. 1 minute 14, may not need to. Beautiful. Beautiful half flip here for Scream to follow. Again, Atomic doing a good job here. The turn, in my opinion, was the wrong way. But really good stuff. Being close again. And again, great stuff from Atomic there. Going onto the backboard on the backside rotation. Really, really well played. Zen here. Also onto the backboard, which makes sense because it looks like the ball's coming across there. They've sort of double covered it here. Bit of an awkward landing into the demo here. And now these offensive attacks can be very dangerous. And I believe in time they're going to get more dangerous, these sort of flip resets, as players level up the defending. So what I mean by that is essentially what you've got is if you were to put this from an overhead and you were looking at it from the ground, Scream is essentially, if you would just imagine this at the ground, right, is on the far outside of the hitbox. So therefore, any challenge here from the blue is going to send that ball to their net. And players, I think with defensive tweaks, will get a little bit better at challenging these. As this ball comes up, I mean, Atomic's done a good job anyway, considering he got bumped as well. Gets the challenge, and this could have been really bad for Scream, because that could have really pinged towards their net. And because they've basically given him a shelf. So Zen quickly picking it up here. Just a bit on top of each other, two in the red zone. A bit awkward. Zen's got to go for this. I mean, he has to pick this up. There's no doubt about it. So that's a bit awkward. And again, great return into the center. And nice ability to find an open spot. Exploiting it. Not putting all their eggs in one basket. And then just going to go for the flip reset. And here's the difference. So notice, for the majority of this play, Zen is higher on the ball. And there's a reason that's so important. So right here, here's the difference. What can Zen see from this angle? Well, he can see both of his opponents, right? If we contrast that with Scream in this instance, what can Scream see? The sky until the last second, and there's the opponent. So when Scream gets the flip reset, it's actually his first instance of him seeing the opponents, which is not what you want. Really, what makes Zen so good is when Zen gets pretty much the same sort of flip reset, he actually sees the opponents on his first touch. Therefore, he's safer. And now he has a much better understanding of where the opponents are in their distance, knowing that he can then push onto that. And it's not going to get a dunk straight to his net. A very small mechanical change that makes a very big difference, in fact. So again, one of the ways you can attack the corners is with single jump turns like that, so that you land on your wheels. And what Atomic did really well there was actually a wave dash as well on top of that. Stopping that ball going any further, well, it's often a good thing to do that. And here's why, because what will happen is a lot of players will move for that boost, then reload. And when that happens, people reload like this, and that creates the gap. Although, again, what could Scream do here a little bit better? For example, if that shot's on target, what I mean is if that was like a tiny bit lower, that's a goal. Why? Well, the Scream's too low. Well, why are they too low? What are you telling us? Why are they too low? Well, look at the height of the ball. Are they matching the height of the ball? No. Are they above the height of the ball? No. Let's just, for devil's advocate here, let's imagine Scream now says, I'm going to match the height of the ball. And they're here. I'm doing the blue for contrast. Okay? Now when we play it back in slow motion, because Jazzy's low, it's literally the height of the player. Now all Scream would have to do in this position, which was here, is side flip, and that's a save onto the mid boost. And again, Zen's wide there. There is actually an open lane. Again, I didn't mean to bash these players. I really, I've been watching a lot of Zen, and he's been playing great. This could be one of the less fundamental position games, but I feel like I've done about an hour here of replay analysis, so I'm not gonna do another one. Not this week, at least. Good attack from Atomic, and the reason this is, again, I don't agree with diving in on the last man, especially not when you've got the lead, but he is more inside than the opponent and therefore gets it. And I think Zen would have recovered in time. And again, just for this, we can see Jazzy needs to be on the backboard here. You have to be on the backboard. If the ball is anywhere near the walls, you have to match the height of the ball or be above it. Now in this situation, you can't actually do that. So what you've got to do if you're Jazzy, and they had the boost as far as I'm aware, I'm not mistaken, they got the boost. Soon as this gets lost and it's going high, they should be boosting up here, up onto this backboard here, and then jumping off here. So that now they are blocking this angle to net. Big mistake people make, again, this is why people think playing defensive is bad, is because they expect this stuff. This is a little thing to cover here. So when Zen goes up, Jazzy's actually started to move out, and so Jazzy's put himself into a shallow position in defense, and it's really not something you want to do in defense, is be in a shallow position by your net, because what that means is you now can be shot behind, just like that. Okay, so in this situation, I believe very firmly that Jazzy should have gone straight onto the backboard as soon as they saw this hit. But let's say they don't, they could at least now go up from here. But by moving forward, solely thinking about getting my turn on the ball, which is how a lot of people think, they then exploit the back. What they could also do is more of a, I guess, pacifist style, is head into this position and turn here. Now that you can try and get the shot out. But personally, even with the system, I would always recommend that players go straight high onto this backboard position here and make the challenge out. You should always go for these, because anything that hits the backboard, never little rule for twos, if anything hits the backboard, it has to have some sort of challenge before, after, or during, unless there's space. So if you're in this position, you see someone hit the backboard and it bounces off, then let it bounce and take the ball's momentum and go with it. I was talking to Juan the other day. Juan has SSL in every single game mode, and he has done since Season 1, since SSL came out. One of the best Rumble players in the world as well. And the manager and owner of Team Strix, and we discussed that exact move, because there was a guy, and again, I mentioned it in my pacifist system, a guy called Hammer or something, who is some sort of coach, who actually said that was a really bad thing to do. And one of the first bits of advice Juan said, unprompted, was that someone asked him what's the best thing, and he said, if you see that they've left it, let that bounce come and take the ball. I don't know anyone that would disagree with that, and you see it all the time. So I don't understand what's going on with this game. So great shot there from Zen, and a really nice finish, but it came again because of that desperation and not defending the backboard. Now overall, what's cool about this though, good build up from Atomic onto the backboard. He had the double jump there. That was a bit risky. And again, that's going to be game there as Zen hits it over the diving last man. And they really are sending themselves here. And I just want you to see actually how unsuccessful this is. Just diving in like that. It's very unsuccessful. Yet, why are you all doing it? You know, it's very unsuccessful this is. It doesn't really do a whole lot. In fact, earlier on, we saw that the orange team should have scored because Zen did the exact same thing. And it didn't work there. In fact, every time you see it, like I say, I've watched thousands of these, it never really works, and yet it continues to happen. It doesn't really create anything either. This play was going to happen regardless of this guy diving in, so you might as well fake that, let them hit it up. At least now you can go for your Harvard challenge. It's just something to think about. But there you go, in-depth analysis there. Hopefully it wasn't too much, guys. Hopefully you learned from that. I appreciate it may go on a little bit, but you can break that down and watch it as you can and when. But the main thing here is I wanted to point out how important it is to look at the game in zones and sides. So having a player in your green zone is always important, in my opinion. Someone should be controlling the green zone, and then always just flashing in and out of the other zones for boost grabs, demos, and angle cuts. But yeah, any questions, guys, please let me know. Thank you, everyone, for the support. Really appreciate it. Any other players you want to see, let me know. Look after yourself, and peace out. Peace, peace, peace.